All right, we're here. Good morning. I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to be with you. We can be together in this journey. We get to empower your child, a child, those children to overcome ADHD, to understand that you have the ability, they have the ability, regardless of what you've seen, what you've experienced, what you feel, what you think, what you've been led to believe. Children have the ability to overcome the challenges that you may be witnessing now, that you may have witnessed for weeks or months or years. We don't have, as parents or caregivers or even professionals, the right equipment because we're not often, hold on, come in. Oh, okay, come on in. All right, I invited my 6-year-old son. Come on in, Isaac. Come sit on daddy's lap. Okay, how are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Okay. If you look into the camera there. Okay. This is my 6-year-old son, Isaac. And I asked him this morning if he wanted to take part in this YouTube live. How are you feeling?
Good.
Good. So Isaac just courageously decided to come and join me. And that's what it's about, courage. And we haven't pre-scripted anything. I'm going to try to lean a little bit. Daddy wants to be close to you, but for the lighting anyway, half of my face is darker. That's okay. Okay. Anyway, so I like that smile, Isaac. I saw that smile. So we haven't pre-scripted anything. I don't believe in that. I just wanted to invite you here with me. I've got two children. Isaac, who's 6. Oh, I should have asked you to say your age, but that's good. What grade are you going into next year?
First grade.
First grade. What did you think about kindergarten?
It was good.
It was good. What did you like about it?
Playing outside.
Playing outside. Okay. Did you play outside or with anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you like to play when you were outside?
The monkey bars.
Monkey bars. Okay. Were you pretty good at it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Good. All right. Good. Yeah. I have the same kind of thing with my throat this morning, coughing a little bit or anyway, but we'll work through that. So we haven't pre-scripted anything. I just invited Isaac because I think it's important for you all to know that I'm a dad and we've been in the same boat. And I have a 20-year-old daughter, Tyra, and Isaac, who's 6. Okay, going into first grade. So glad you're here today, Isaac. Yeah. So what about? I wanted to ask you questions about when you were younger. Do you remember when you were?
No.
How do you answer?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you remember like okay. Do you remember what when you were younger, me and your mom would work with you on something and we still work with you on it. The thing we would encourage you to do whenever you went somewhere like daycare or church or
Yeah.
yeah, what would we encourage you to do?
Uh, go there and not be afraid.
Go there and what?
Not be afraid.
Not be afraid? Okay, good. And what else? What else would we say? We say you're a good what?
Listener.
That's right. You're a good listener, right? Because we want when you went places, we wanted you to do what? When you were, you know, when you were somewhere, what did we want you to do?
Mm, can't remember.
What do you think? Because we would say you're a good
Listener.
listener. So we'd want you to go there and do what?
Be courageous.
Yeah, be courageous. Okay. And be courageous. And what do you think that we were proud of you of when you would go places and we'd ask you, Isaac, were you a good
Listener.
listener today? Yeah. What do you think we wanted you to do?
Be a good listener.
Be a good listener, right? Why do you think that was important?
Because it is to listen.
It is to listen. Yeah. And what about so there's people out there and maybe they're wondering what it might mean, what you think it means to listen. So what do you think that means? Like if a kid is listening, what do you think that means? What are they doing when they're listening?
You're doing good.
You're doing good. Okay. Like what? Like are you like what? What's an example you think of listening?
Mm, doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Right. Okay, good. Good job. Okay. So what would happen if you didn't listen?
I would be in a bunch of trouble
You would be
like a couple of years ago.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I would be in bunch of trouble like a couple years ago.
Like a couple years ago. Okay.
Because I threw cars and kids.
What's that?
Because I threw cars and kids.
Because you threw cars?
And kids.
You threw kids?
I think so.
How did you throw kids?
I could pick them up and throw them.
You
Well, I grabbed them then. I was like,
okay. You grabbed kids and threw kids?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I don't really, I mean, I don't really remember you throwing kids really that much. But okay, so you throw cars and kids, all right, and that was not okay, right? So,
Yeah.
All right, why do you think you did stuff? Why do you think you had trouble listening?
Because it was like the hardest thing to do.
It was the hardest thing to do. Okay. What about now? Do you think it's the hardest thing for you to do now?
Not really.
Not really. So how do you think you became a good listener? What do you think helped you with that?
Getting my spanks.
Getting your spanks? Okay. All right. And how do you think that helped you?
I don't really know.
What do you think? If you just had to guess, how do you think that helped you? Did you ever feel like it was something that was
I just didn't like it.
you didn't like it, right? Okay. Now, did you think that getting your spanks was something done to hurt you?
No.
Okay. No. Okay.
Just for me to learn.
Just for you to learn. Okay. All right. All right. And do you think that you are a good listener now? Do you think that you've been able to learn and do better?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good manners. I like that. Good job. Okay. Yeah, I know how much you have grown and because I think you like to have your way. Do you think you like to have your way?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you like to have your way. But you've learned to be able to control yourself and think and make good decisions. And we helped you with that. We love you. Do you think mommy loves you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Do you think daddy loves you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why do you think that? Why do you think mommy and daddy loves you?
Because
Yeah, okay. All right, that's okay. Did you ever think, even when you were getting in big trouble because you weren't listening, did you ever feel like you weren't loved?
no.
Okay. Okay, good. That's good. I'm so glad because we do love you and we want the best for you. And we're so proud of you because you have come such a long way. You are a good listener now. Do you remember? I remember when you told me that. So you, it was hard to listen, but then we worked on it together like every day. Did it feel like we worked on it every day for you to become a good listener? And it was hard.
Yeah.
And then you
Yes,
told
sir.
me, oh, good manners. Okay, I'm trying to find where, because okay, let me see. I'm trying to find, because I put down this quote. All right, let me find it. Maybe it's in here. Okay, let's see. Man, okay, so the day you told me, I was encouraging you. I said, Isaac, what do we expect of you today? And when we'd say, Isaac, what do we expect of you today? What would you normally say?
I'll be a good listener.
Yeah, you'll be a good listener. And I remember the day when we would say that like every day, and we work on with you every day. We worked for about a couple years from the time you're about two something till I think you were like four, and
I thought it was 5.
no, you really got good at being a listener when you were four something, I
Oh.
think. But I have the date. I'm trying to find it because we worked so much on it, and we worked with you because we believed in your ability to be a good listener, and we just worked with you on it because we know that that's tough for kids. It's not just you; it's tough for so many kids out there. And you're being very courageous now, being on this live video and sharing, and I love that because I'm happy about that. I love you. Okay, so I'm trying to find where because I put it down.
Can't it just delete because it's like you need more space?
You know what? That's something I hope to never delete, even if I need more. Okay, here it is. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Isaac McMahon on April 6th, 2023. You said, I said, I said something like, what do we expect of you today, Isaac? And and you responded, you said something like, to be a good listener, but then you said, I'm always a good listener now. And I put that quote down. It touched my heart. It almost made me cry.
But I don't even think you wrote that because it says from my teacher.
Okay. Because this was something else.
Oh,
So the next year, your teacher, this was on August 16th, and your teacher sent us an email and said, good morning. Yay. He, talking about you, is truly such a good hearted little boy, and he is so prepared for kindergarten. Great job, Mama. I look forward to teaching him this year. So your teacher said that,
well, she
or
doesn't.
wrote that.
She doesn't even have the possibility of doing that.
Oh, what, teaching you this year?
Yeah,
Okay, but this was last year before she
yeah.
taught you. She was saying she was excited about teaching you for kindergarten.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So she was before you came because she met you and she saw how well your heart and how well you were doing. Whatever she saw, this is what she wrote. What do you think about that?
good.
And we put that in the same category because we know you've always been a good-hearted boy. But can listening be tough sometimes? Do you ever see other kids that have trouble listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. What kind of stuff do you see them do or struggle with?
Like one guy, I think he grabbed me and then threw me on the ground.
Oh my goodness. How did you feel about that?
I was like, oh my goodness.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. You think he was so that did you like that when he grabbed you and threw you on the ground?
Um, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah, fine, I guess. Okay. Was it somebody you knew or a friend or was it somebody being mean?
It was a friend.
It was a friend. Okay. So he grabbed you, threw you on the ground. But he wasn't listening. That he wasn't supposed to do that?
No.
No, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so he wasn't supposed to do that, but he did. Okay, but I'm glad that it didn't hurt your heart or your feelings, but you didn't like it. Okay, all right. Who do you think it's harder to listen to, mommy or daddy?
Both.
Both. Okay, all right. Do you think that it's harder for you have any more trouble listening to one than the other?
Mm, not exactly.
Okay, not exactly. Okay. We can get into that later, people. But there's a phenomenon there. But that's important. That accurate information we talk about to empower you all. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think we should say for parents out there who are trying to help their kids to listen? What do you think you would recommend to them? What do you think they should do or think about?
Um, they should think about the. I don't really know that.
That's okay, because it's whatever you think. What do you think is something that has helped you to bring out your strength because you're strong and help you bring out your strength? What do you think has helped you to be your best?
Um, I think because I do the right thing a lot.
Do you do the right thing a lot? Okay. And we're so proud of you that you do the right thing a lot. And we know it's not always easy. Is it always easy to do the right thing? No. So what do you think is important? Why do you think you do the right thing a lot now?
Um, because I've got grown and done more.
That's right. You have grown and you have done more. So proud of you. You have grown, you've done more, you're doing so well. And we've been here to help you. And that's what we're here. But no matter what, whether you do well or you don't do well, we always love you no matter what. Okay. And we're going to keep encouraging you and empowering you to do your best because we believe in you. Okay. What do you think? Do you think you believe in yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. Good. Yay. I'm so glad you joined me on this video today. This has been live and maybe one person or 1,000 people million people might see this video.
It's like one person, 0 likes.
Yeah, that's right. One person watching, 0 likes so far. Yeah, that's right. But I think there's going to be more people and likes because we're here about love. We're here about just trying to help people have information so that they can empower their child, their kid, to do the best that they can. And we're excited that you're doing well, and we're going to keep working with you. And anything you want to say as you say goodbye, and any encouragement you want to give to parents or other kids out there?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, awesome. All right, I love you. Love
Love
you so much. I'm going to kiss you on camera because I love you, and I'm not embarrassed to kiss my son. I love you. All right, I love you. I'll see you later, okay? Thanks for coming and joining on this video, Isaac.
Wait, are you going to the office now?
Later on.
Oh.
Okay, that was so awesome. I love you, son.
Um,
All right, see you later. All right, that was exciting. I'm so glad I invited my son just in case he wanted to come and join, and I'm so glad he did. It was really awesome to have him share his perspective and get to the point where he had the courage to just come on this live video and share his thoughts. And as I shared, none of this has been scripted. It's just been something that, just it was just real, just raw, just as it is, because that's what we're here for. We're here for things to be real. And in this realness, to understand that we had my wife, Heather, and I had to work with Isaac to help him to become a good listener. And several things about that. We've talked about these things before, but it's important to reinforce them that children in their world want their way a lot of times. And they have trouble with all kinds of things like listening or paying attention or transitioning or doing what they need to do or putting their energy into what they're supposed to do. They have trouble with all these things, not because they're disordered, but it's just a developmental fact. And when we understand that, it removes shame, it removes blame, it removes you feeling like a failure because your child is having or had struggles. And a lot of times when the disorder narrative comes in, such as ADHD, and we're led to believe, whether through our own experiences or through some encounter with the narrative, that ADHD has something to do with a brain disorder, brain divergence, brain dysfunction, whatever it might be. We have this that we bring into the view of our children, and that is not something. So when we look at the accurate information of ADHD, when you go below the surface, and this is what I encourage you to do with anything I present, with anything that's presented to you, go below the surface, ask some questions, dig a little deeper, because when you do, you'll see, like I have, that below the surface, there's more there. And what's there is a lot of unsurety about ADHD, that what we're led to believe about ADHD being a disorder that's neurological is not substantiated by history. It's not substantiated by the only source of diagnosis, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders by the American Psychiatric Association. It's not substantiated by science, and it's not substantiated by understanding kids from a developmental perspective. That we get that opportunity. It's like in Arkansas, I haven't been there personally, but there's an Arkansas diamond mine, actually. And this is a place where, at my understanding, you go, you pay a fee, and you get to dig for diamonds. Now, some people have actually found diamonds because there are real diamonds out there. But guess what's out there most? Guess what covers and is pervasive out there? A lot of rocks that can be glittery and look like something that might be of tremendous value, but it's not. You have to go below the surface, beyond what's so pervasive, or the plethora of whatever these crystals are, to be able to have the opportunity to find the diamond. In this metaphor, understand that you got to go beyond the plethora of information out there that's promulgated about ADHD and what it is and how we have these issues, especially children with their brains, to go beyond that to find the diamond. The diamond is the accurate information that lets you know that the whole concept of ADHD is just, when it comes to the brain, has only ever been a theory, an idea, not something for you to base a child's life, identity, or treatment upon. That in the DSM, the only source of diagnosis, it says that ADHD symptoms can be a result. Every one of the total of 19 symptoms on the two different scales, the inattentive scale and the hyperactive impulsive scale for ADHD, every one of the nine symptoms on the inattentive scale or the nine symptoms on the hyperactive impulsive scale, every one of those symptoms, and even if a child presents with all 18 of those symptoms, it could be for at least 16 different reasons, including normal childhood behavior. The DSM tells us clearly that it's not clear when it comes to what may be causing these symptoms, what may be going on. So to have such certainty that your child, a child, that child has a neurological disorder is just, it's the it doesn't line up. It doesn't line up with accurate information. And so we have got to understand that children are not disordered. Children struggle because they're children, because they have their own motivations, because listening to them is not something that comes naturally for a lot of them, and that not something that is normative. When I say listening, you may say, well, AJ, my child has far greater struggles in listening, because I've heard from you parents or professionals when you talk about, and you're confused and your heart's breaking because a child has crawled out a window and tried to leave home, or they have banged their head against the ground in a frightening way, or they've had crying spells for over an hour, or they just shut down and no one can get through to them, or they go to school or daycare and they're throwing chairs and tearing up the class, or they're struggling because when you're trying to get them to work through academics, it's just heartbreaking to see them have such trouble, and they're crying and they're saying, I can't do this, and all these different confusing, heartbreaking things that children experience. And we've got to understand that all these things are in the realm of possibility, probability, and certainty for children when it comes to the developmental struggles that they have. And what do they need? What they need is training. They need training. It's not that they're incapable, it's that they don't have the strength to overcome these challenges versus the natural developmental factors. So this is where my son was. This is where my daughter was. And when we get to understand that our children naturally, developmentally have these struggles, we get the chance to empower them. It's just like being able to look at it with these behavioral focus, attention, whatever challenges, whoa, whatever things you might be fighting against out there, Karate Kid and that whole thing. I don't know why that came to mind, but the whole Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off thing just kind of came to mind. But when we get to understand that children have these struggles and we get to make that normative, we get to say, okay, so what can I do to be able to empower them? How can I understand this child through a developmental lens? How can I understand that I might not always understand, that I don't always have to understand exactly what may be causing my child to have this problem? I don't have to always understand what I'm seeing, but I do get to believe in myself and my ability to empower my child to overcome these challenges. And when you take that in, it was just like with me, with my son, and then my wife with our son, to be able to believe, hey, you can do this. And even though we didn't see him be able to listen well basically is obedience, right? To be able to respect and do what he needed to do with at home, with at daycare, at church, wherever he was, to be able to do well at just being obedient, being respectful, being calm, doing what he needed to do. We had to work with him about that, with that. And to work with your child is something that can bring about what we've been able to see. And that's with Isaac or with Tyra. them being able to get the help they need to push their energy into what you expect them to do. And when they do that, they feel empowered, they feel encouraged. You saw Isaac. What did you think? Do you think he felt discouraged? Do you think he felt sad? Do you think he felt hurt relationally? What do you think? Because he wasn't scripted, he wasn't prepared. He got an opportunity to come on here and say what he really thought. He even talked about Spanx, and those can be things that are controversial. But when we look at things that accurate information, we're talking about understanding how to apply effective strategies, and not saying that one strategy or another is the effective, but for you to be able to understand accurately what might be effective to empower your particular child, how to look at various tools and employ them with wisdom and in love. Because when different tools are used effectively, they can help bring about the goals. And so often we're not equipped with the tools, with the accurate information about the tools, even when it comes to more firmer forms of discipline. That in the context of a loving relationship, the loving relationship can sustain every ounce of healthy discipline necessary to empower your child, a child, those children to succeed. That we have the loving relationship, the LN leap, and we start with that. The expectation of excellence comes next. And when I say expectation of excellence, we talked about this last time, but expectation of excellence, the second E there is because you want to empower your child to do or meet that expectation with excellence. Sometimes when we're trying to empower our children, when we see just some improvement, when they haven't been transitioning well, when they haven't been focusing, when they haven't been doing their work, when they haven't been obedient, and we get a little bit of respect, we get a little bit of focus, we get a little bit of them putting their energy into doing what they're supposed to do, we can get excited. We're like, okay, I'll take that. That's better than nothing. I'll take that. I'll take that and run with that. But that's not good enough, because your child is so much more capable. And when you have this expectation of excellence, not perfection, because none of us are perfect, you don't expect them to be perfect, but you do expect them to do it with the best of your belief in their ability, and you hold them accountable to that standard. It empowers them and encourages them, because it's like, you believe in me, and it challenges them to push their energy into meeting that expectation with excellence, to get to the point where they're able to do it excellently for a long period of time, which that takes quite a bit of time, sometimes weeks or months, maybe up to a year, with consistently being able to apply your plan. So let's get into the plan a little bit. We talked about the A in leap, affirming accountability. I know two A's there, like two E's, and then P, perseverance. But let's get into the plan a little bit. Let's get into some nuts and bolts, all right? Because we're going to talk more about the theory and the things behind what I'm sharing and why I'm sharing, because you are worth the whys. You are worth the accurate information that's going to be helpful. But so we're going to get into that. I'm going to do a 4 or 5 part series where we're going to dive into uh, the child development history, the history of psychotropic drugs, which is called medicine. And we're going to get into why I call them psychotropic drugs. We're going to get into the accurate information to be able to empower you with that, so you can make informed decisions. So you can see there's no shame, no matter what. It's just that you get this opportunity to have this information, to be able to even search it out for yourself, so you can do with it in your wisdom what you will and what you need to bring about a transformative experiences. So when we talk about a plan, all right, we talk about accurate information, a plan, and then using your comprehensive plan to empower your child. Why do you need a plan? Because a child's first goal, really, they're either going to try to put their energy into sabotaging you and your efforts to try to train them, or they're not going to put energy into going along with it. Why? Because to children, there's sweet candy of trying to get their way or get out of what they don't want. There's sweet candy. When it comes to parents and caregivers getting confused, and their children are upset, and caregivers are overstimulating them by being overly let's say, for example, let's say that a child has been told to go to bed, and so the child doesn't want to go to bed, or well, let's say what you see with the child is they don't go to bed and then they start crying. All right. Now, caring parents will often try to understand what their feelings are, what's going on. Sometimes this can last for hours, right? Where the caring parents are trying to be empathetic and sensitive to their child, which is awesome. We want to keep that. But that going on for hours is not the effective use of your energy and not empowering your child. So how do you be effective? How do you be effective in being able to validate your child's feelings and also be able to empower them to do what they need to do regardless of how they feel? We talk about this. I talk about this as far as a comprehensive plan. Okay. And with this comprehensive plan, excuse me for a minute. I'm going to take a second, okay? Because I'm not sure that I think I got a little bit off there, and I'm just going to just tell you straight up. I feel like I got a little off there. So if that part didn't seem quite jointed, that's okay. I'm going to give myself some grace. Give me some grace. But the important thing is we talk about that nothing you do. You're here, and those of you who are here, you're not interested in doing anything to harm your child, to hurt them emotionally, to stunt their development. So, everything we talk about are things that, in my experience with my own kids and what I've been able to understand from kids from a developmental perspective, and being able to get the opportunity to see kid after kid ask for these things, it's all bringing together what we're talking about and what kids are asking for. They're saying, Mom, Dad, caregiver, I don't have the strength to pull my energy away from what is important in my world or to put energy into things that are not important in my world. Now, sometimes you may see me do that because I'm highly motivated, but when I'm not highly motivated, you're not going to see me do that on a consistent basis. And maybe you've never seen me put energy into focus or transitioning or attending or controlling myself in the way that you hope. But that doesn't mean, mom and dad, or even professional, that I can't do it. It means that I need you to give me consistent training. I need you to believe in my ability to accomplish the things that you want. And even if I don't believe it, I need you to believe in me and work with me on a daily basis. And here's how, this is all from a child's perspective. Here's how you can work with me. You can, in the morning, you can be able to say, hey, I believe that you're capable of, and give me a specific thing. I am a choice and consequence learner. I'm a concrete thinker. I need specifics. Okay. So give me a specific, like, I need you to do what I say the first time, or to listen, or I need you to not hit. Give me a specific expectation. And because you believe in me and you give me a specific expectation, then I need you to be in a position where you can follow up on this expectation. Whether you have a method of getting information from the person who's taking care of me during the day, or you're being observant of this specific thing. And mom or dad or professional, I don't need you to try to do two or three different things. Now, for example, you might be concerned because I'm having struggles with one thing, such as transitioning or basically doing what I need to do in that moment. But I also might have struggles with things like talking back or huffing or those kind of things. Those are all concerning things. And I get it. I get why you're concerned. Believe it or not, I know why you're concerned. It's just that I don't really have the strength to overcome those challenges versus what I believe in or what is important to me in the moment. But when you can be courageous and when you can work with me, the child 12 and under, on one specific thing at a time, like for example, if when you focus on first being able to put your energy and consistency into empowering me to do what I need to do. So when I can transition or I can listen, I can follow directions, go to bed, whatever it is you tell me to do, when you can put the energy into that, I might huff and I might do other things or talk back a little bit, but that's something that is the next step. Once I get to the point where I am doing well at doing what you tell me right away or the first time, then I know that I can believe and we can see that I am able to do this consistently. And then we can go to the next thing. And then you can say, okay, now the next expectation of excellence, son or daughter or child or whatever it is for you to do what I need you to do with with respect or without huffing or with no talkback, right? So we can build on these skills. And when you help me to build on these skills with affirming accountability, meaning you affirm my feelings but you don't let me get away with anything. You don't let me do that because when I get away with something, or even when I get the gentle parenting and you kind of let me, for example, I have a friend and his parents let him, like when he gets upset and kind of throws a tantrum, they try to distract him and kind of work with him and do all these different things. Well, I get it. I know the parents are really trying, but that's not good for my friend because when my friend is still trying to get distracted and going on, he's still putting his energy into the reactions to those emotions, and that's not the best use of his energy. But when there's a clear boundary that says, like to my friend, hey, you can feel upset, but being specific, because I'm a concrete thinker, when the parents can say to my friend, you can be upset, but you're not going to throw a fit, or even if you're upset, you're going to listen. And even in that listening, that can be just control yourself. Like if we say, well, you're upset, that's okay, but go to your room. That's an expectation that's good for me. Or if they say you're upset, but um, you're control yourself. Like if you throw something or hit or scream, then you're going to get a consequence. Well, that lets me know clearly what the boundaries are. That lets my friend know. And when as children, can know clearly what our boundaries are, we have the belief that we are capable. We have the loving context, meaning that anybody that is working with us in this context, we know loves us. Just like Isaac presented that he knew the whole time without hesitation that he was loved, that when we know this empowers us to push our energy out of what we are interested in and into what we need. We push our energy away from what feels what we want into what we need. And that often comes, the reinforcement of that. So we know that you mean business, so that we can really take you seriously, comes from the affirming accountability. And I am, in this role play, I, as a child, 12 and under, know that I'm not going to tell you often that affirming accountability is what I need, but I know that I need it. I need that accountability, that you affirm my feelings or my friend's feelings, but you also give me the discipline. Give me the firm, lovingly firm discipline I need so that when I, as a choice and consequence learner, think about it, I say, you know what? I'm loved. And it's like we talked about, it's like Mr. AJ talked about in the last video. It's like you're the loving cop that's giving me the ticket for that specific violation. And when I get a ticket I don't like consistently, I learn, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is going to be my consequence. I don't like it. So when I push my energy into doing what I need to do, what I'm expected to do with excellence, I don't get that consequence. And me, as a choice of consequence learner, I say, you know what? It is better for me to go along with them because they love me and they're being consistent and they're affirming me and holding me accountable, and I can take them seriously. It's better for me to push my energy into doing what they expect in this loving context versus what I may want to do or not want to do. And when I do that, and when I can get the help I need to push my energy into that, then I believe in myself. I see that I can do it. And I can say things like Isaac said, I'm a good listener now. And this is the whole transformative process that kids need that often is not talked about. And I'm shifting now back to AJ. I know I did that role play. Hope it wasn't weird. But the bottom line is, I've heard from countless children, and it would be different if I heard from, as I'm seeing children in my over 25-year career as a licensed professional counselor, as I'm working with children 12 and under. And when I got to the point where I took off the lens of ADHD and I started to try to listen and learn and understand from kids, child after child after child after child after child after child after child. Yes, I'm going on and on because it was literally consistently child after child would tell me the same thing, that they knew they were loved and that they needed accountability. And oftentimes, parents, you are not encouraged to put your foot on that gas pedal of discipline. You're encouraged with all these things about saying no is going to hurt, or lovingly firm discipline is going to stunt their development or teach them to hit, or all these things that are just not accurate when done effectively. It's about us learning the truth of kids developmentally and learning how to be effective with our tools, instead of being able to say or misunderstand and apply this wisdom of the world that is not helping our kids get better. Because your kid is capable, and it's on us to be able to gather the accurate information, to put together a comprehensive plan where the talking occurs in the morning and at night. When in the morning, when we're saying, hey, what do I expect, and I believe in you. And at night, when we say, hey, regardless of the day you had, whether you met the expectation today or not, I believe in you. But the action occurs throughout the day. You being able to make sure that you get the information you need to be able to assess whether your child met that expectation or not each and every day. And when they did, you praise them. That is the reward. That is reward enough. I'm proud of you. You could do it. I believe in you. And when they don't do it, you say, hey, I still believe in you. And if you did well in any respect, even a little bit, I'm going to praise you for that. Hey, I know you didn't. Your teacher told me today that you didn't listen. You didn't stay in your seat. But she also said that you redirected quicker today. So I'm proud of you for that. We want to point out anything there, the improvement. And with that, you want to hold them accountable. At the same time, because you didn't do what I expected you to do, then you're going to be held accountable. I'm going to think about the fair and appropriate and firm discipline necessary to help you to understand. I'm going to write that ticket as a loving cop each and every time, because it's going to encourage you as a 12 and under choice and consequence learner to say, you know what, it's better for me to push that energy into doing what I need to do, because I don't like the consequences. And I prefer to push my energy into this because it works out better for me. We're happier. My parents or caregivers are happier. I'm happier when I do this. And to persevere, the PM leap for the weeks, months of consistently with this specific process and your plan and your expectation, to believe, even though you're not going to see the performance at first, to know that this is what it takes to empower your child past ADHD symptoms or anything, that they are capable. They're not disordered. They're not divergent. They're just children. They're unique. Okay. And if you want to use the word divergence as a synonym for unique, that is fine. But any type of connotation that your child is not capable is likely not accurate. Okay. For the millions of you out there, it is likely more accurate that your child is capable when you put together your effective plan and implement it with perseverance, because the transformative power of that is life changing, it's legacy changing, it's identity changing. And we need to be about that, because our children are worth it. You're worth it. And this is there for you. So I want to encourage you. I hope that whatever we do, whatever we talk about, if you have questions, feel free. You can check in with me, whether it's you put a question in the comments, whether you check in AJ at powerofable.com. That's the email address. Whether you check out the resources, excuse me, It seems like I have to do that about every video, but thanks for bearing with me. Whether you check out the resources at powerofable.com and be able to tap into the books or the coaching, let's stay tuned, stay connected, stay involved as we journey, as we empower you, as we bring about transformation like you've never experienced before. All right, let's do this disclaimer. The video content is for informational purposes and not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. Blah, 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 blah. Seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have. The video creators is not responsible for any loss or damage resulting from the use of the information. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard or seen in this video or podcast. Use that. Use all this with your wisdom. Don't let the world think that you're not capable of wisdom. Don't buy just the information that's we're inundated with. You're wise, you're capable, you're able, and your child is able. Stay tuned, stay connected, stay involved. Let's get there together. Take care. Have a great day. It's Juneteenth here, so we're celebrating that. But wherever you are, whatever day it is, be well.